Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you guys a pretty fun viewer suggestion video that I've been working on for a little bit, which was a Riot shield that has a mirror finish. I've already taken it out and beat it up, and you guys will be able to see all the test footage of that running it over. And this stuff, it held up so well. And man, when you see it out in the sun, it looks beautiful. Now, this is comprised of a thick sheet of polycarbonate and some one-way mirror glaze. The polycarbonate was 1/4 of an inch thick, and because it's so long, right, it's such a large piece, I couldn't just mold it in my oven. I mean, it just didn't fit. So I had to come up with a more creative solution with a burn barrel and some ratchet straps. And this is by far the most redneck way I've ever molded a piece of plastic. But it worked. It worked amazingly well. And I'm very excited to show you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into the build, and I will show you all the different things that we used to test it. And I'll go over some final thoughts at the end on how I would actually improve this design, because there are a few things and some other things maybe to consider now that I know how to actually make it, how I would do it differently. Alright? So let's get started on trying to get this thing to work, because there was some entertaining fails with the burn barrel that I hope you enjoy. Alright. Alright, so you can see this is kind of what I'm thinking. I got one of these nice long lick sand sheets, and I'm ratcheting it to an old 55-gallon drum. Right? And what I'm trying to do is get an arch out of it. I want to get it formed so it's got a nice domed surface. I also put these wooden boards here as supports because I don't want them to pick up these ridges into it. So the idea is I'm going to ratchet it down tight like I've done, just kind of moving this ratchet because these are just like tie downs. You pull them tight, right? So ratchet it down, pull it tight in all these points. I'm going to start a fire in here. I'm going to watch and see if I can keep it under 500 degrees. Because I know this Lexan, I've worked with it before, and around 500 degrees it becomes very pliable. If you remember my bulletproof glass video, that's the temperature I started working with it to try to get it to laminate to glass. So the idea, hopefully, is I'm going to start a small fire inside. I got cardboard and twigs out here in the backyard. Sorry if the wind and the cars going by are too loud. But anyways, I'm going to get a small fire going, try to maintain it around that temperature, and hopefully it'll start to form better. Then we can cool it off and it will maintain that shape. Now here's, I wish I could just pop it in the oven, but for obvious reasons, these sheets are far too big, and I only have two about this size that would work perfectly for a Riot shield. So I only have really two chances to get this right, and hopefully I won't mess up the transparency of this stuff. I left the film on so that way it didn't scuff it up when I used the ratchet straps on it, and also to kind of protect it. Sadly, we can't do a drying cycle, which is usually around 200 degrees when it comes to Lexan, or just general any purpose polycarbonate. Before you form it at its top optimal temperature, you have to do a dry cycle to try to get all the water out, but can't really control that when it comes to just an open flame like this. So I'm hoping that we don't get a bunch of bubbles forming in the plastic, but I think as long as we keep the fire under control, we might be in business. So let's get started. What I'm thinking is, once we get a small fire started, I might flip it over on the side and let it work that way. I'm not really worried about these nylon straps. Nylon has a really high temperature. Yeah, see, this fire is already a little too high. the nature of burn barrels. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the nylon. The barrel itself is smoking though. Probably because of, yep. Well, another reason why I'm glad I left that film on. I didn't even think about that. Let me see if I can get it close. Is whatever was in it before. Oh, nylon is splitting it. Well, defied my expectations and got super hot just with cardboard. Now I was going to ruin that sheet of polycarbonate. Getting it wet like this, but it pops too there. Probably had a fire in it first. That way I would have known what to expect, huh? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's a conspiracy, man. Look at them damn chemtrails, right? Them chemtrails are just messing everything up. Everything was working fine. The plane flew over. Ruined my little experiment. Molding polycarbonate. Proof right there. Wake up. Wake up. Son of a... Alright, so you can see I completely underestimated how quickly that got hot. And honestly, you know, it got well over 500 degrees in a very short amount of time. And it popped all those nylon straps. I thought it might have been a different material, but after looking it up, it was right around with the thermometer about 600 degrees, about 550 or so, which is, you know, fine for the polycarbonate, but the nylon just, you know, started popping. So I tried it again with thicker bands and adding a lot more water. That worked okay, but I still ended up with that section there, and you can see it just ruined the optical clarity of the polycarbonate. It's still in a dome shape, and there's still some good plastic here, so I'm saving it for a different project. But sadly, it's not going to work for what I wanted, you know, for the Riot shield. So what I ended up doing is bringing the burn barrel inside, adding more boards, and using a propane heater instead. And I could dial in the temperature, and it worked way better. So I'm going to show you guys that. And I also used a fiberglass welding blanket to wrap to kind of keep the insulation in and the temperature up. And man, that's how this one worked so well. So, alright, I'll show you that now. Alright, round 3. I added 5 of these big, thick bands, wood on top and underneath of the polycarbonate. You can hear the roar of a propane heater. Look at this. Trying to do a far more controlled, rather than just using an open flame, or I should say a fire. And this is working a lot better. Way better. Look at that. So slowly creeping up. Touch it. Feel it getting warmer. This is what I got set up here. Propane heater that I use for my garage. Look at that. This I can control the temperature. Also cut slightly thicker boards. You can see I lined them up with the ones underneath. Kind of folded when I ratcheted it down. But with this and just letting the temperature slowly increase, you should get a better result than it spiking all the way up to 600 degrees. Alright, so I threw this welding blanket over the back of it. Try to keep some of the temperature in. That seemed to really help. Gonna insulate it. So the back side of it would get about the same temperature as the inside. At least the wood has gradually heated up. That seemed to work really nice. Alright, let's take these clamps off and see how well it worked. Alright, so here's it fully cured. See, you get a nice dome shape out of it. Just cleaning up all the lint. There's a few little impurities in the plastic from heating it like that, but that was to be expected. Most of it, though, retained its optical clarity. There's the words I'm trying to get. Man, so this film, you gotta be real careful not to damage it. It gets crinkled up at all and it will leave a fold in that plastic. Very annoying to work with. I already threw away a whole sheet of it, section of it. You can pick this up in any hardware store, right? It's the brand I'm using. It works great for polycarbonate. I used it on some lenses before, so I know how well it works. But when you're dealing with a big sheet like this, try to trim the excess off so you don't get these crinkles. Bring it up. Hopefully I can kind of get rid of most of them. There's just going to be maybe one or two, but anyways, so yeah, ready to start applying it. With this film, there's 2 layers and there's an adhesive on it. Use this window film application stuff, right? Spritz it down real well, spritz underneath, and then take something like that and just smooth along it. I'll show a close-up of that when I get to it. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at right now. So let's get started on it. Alright, so this is the completed model, shown a close-up. You can see some imperfections, especially right here. I should have had someone help me when I was laminating it. Really, when you drag this stuff across, I've recorded a little bit of it, you got to be real careful to get it right the very first time, or else it will be a pain in the butt to maneuver. But luckily the roll I still have plenty, so I am planning to do another one of these. This one's going to get destroyed. At least beat the crap out of. I just took these cheap hinges, right, that I got down in Menards, and some of this flat bar, 3-inch. I can't remember exactly how wide it was. And as you can see, it's actually 3 pieces. I'll pull back this foam. Right, so there's one piece here, one in the middle, and another one here. I didn't have any that was long enough to come all the way across, and I kind of like that I did that because when I first put these hinges on, it was up at a tight angle, right? And by putting this third one on and bolting it down, it was able to create more of a dome shape, so it was able to help pull it together, I guess is what I'm getting at. I just put some lock washers and washers on the front. You can see through it. I did have one big oopsie over here when I was drilling through this handle. Oh yeah, and so the handle, this little handle was $1. It's like a speckling tool. I saw that and I was like, well, that's actually a solid plastic handle. That'll work great. So I just took that and bolted the whole thing on instead of trying to cut it out and everything. You don't need to do that. Just bolt the whole thing down with these small bolts. Like I said, I'll link where you can get all that stuff, and this is that viscoelastic foam that I used in my hat build. It's really great, and man, it makes a difference. If you're not wearing that, it really metal digs into your arm, you know? So that foam is very comfortable. It looks awesome though. It really does. This was a cool suggestion, man. Thick piece of polycarbonate. Alright. Yeah, I just wanted to show kind of close up what was going on here. See, 2 bolts here, here, and then 2 bolts farther back. Oh yeah, and this strap, I should remember to mention that. This is a belt, like a, what is it, like a car belt, right, seat belt, that's what I'm thinking of. I just cut off the end here. This was a mounting bracket. Left that part on, this tail, I just wrapped it in between these 2 pieces. Did the same thing with that. It's sandwiched between the 2 pieces of metal where they overlay. Drilled through it, put a bolt, right? But the reason why I left that is so I could clip something onto it if I wanted to carry anything with that, like a bag or something like that, to keep my, you know, even, I don't know, a holster, clip a holster onto it. So that's the basic idea of what I'm going with. You can just lift it up so you can see it from the outside. Right? Looks good. Alright, let's get to beating this thing up. Alright, so now that we're outside, you can see how much more reflected it is in the natural sunlight, and how little you can actually see through. You see me. So it works really, really well. Now we're going to test the structural integrity of this polycarbonate. We have axes, maces, hammers, nightsticks, you name it. Beat the crap out of it the best we can. And now we're going to test the toughness of the actual polycarbonate.
As long as you hit the shield.
Yeah. Oh. That's awesome. I actually can't even feel the impacts on it. A little bit of abrasion from it. Not too bad. Let's step it up to some hammers and whatnot.
Hammers?
Yeah, hammers and such and such.
Hammers, but this is gonna fly off.
Well, you know, that'll make for a good time. You alright?
Yeah.
Alright. Jesus. Yeah. Show the scuffs close. You can even see it, the sun being a little bit difficult. Man, impressive, right?
Yeah.
Want to try an axe? Or a hatchet, hatchet.
Hatchet?
Dual hand hatchet. All right.
Didn't do as much.
I scuffed it. Yeah, you took some chunks out. Took some chunks out the polycarbonate. Let's set this up and use the axes on it though.
Yeah. Alright.
Just don't let it bounce. Nice.
Alright, let's try the other one.
Where'd it go? Oh, right there. That had a nice impact. It makes a nice loud ding noise.
Hell yeah.
And so this is some close-up of it after we hit it with some things. See, a little bit of warping around here, but I was actually worried that this would break through, but right now it's just actually the from it being compressed is delaminating the mirrored effect. But see all the scuff marks? Those lines were just from wrinkles inside. Those aren't actually like chips or breaks. Right here, these are. But no major cracks. Nothing at all, really. We'll take a closer look after we get done beating it up. Now we're moving on to axes. Full-size axes. Nice. Direct hit right over the handle. Come at it with a... Woo! Oh, it actually dented it. Or did it just get stuck underneath this piece of plastic? There you go. It popped back out. It actually pushed it up underneath and then it popped it back out. There you go. Nothing. Everybody else is making noise outside. Alright, so now we're going to throw some stuff at it. Some rocks and axes and stuff. Go ahead. Rock. Bounce right off. Fly back. Well, that was a big one.
Get the biggest rock.
There you go. It bounced right off. Hey,
That one made a buckle.
I want to sit flat on its back and just really can't. Man.
Put some pep in it.
No.
Here, see if we can curve it.
No. It absorbs so much energy on that impact. Here, you want to try to hold it?
Sure.
It's a little heavy. But it's made for lefties. So. Yeah. How's that? Ready?
Yeah.
Nothing, right? All right. Alright, so there you have it. Just ran it over with the car. It worked really well. The handle did bust a bit. You know, but it took a beating. I mean, polycarbonate of this thickness can stop small caliber rounds. I know because I've tested it before. This is a 1/4 inch thick piece, right? Right there in that one. This is an early test I did way back before I even had a YouTube channel. That was from a 380, right? And all that shot right there, that's from bird shot from a shotgun, 12 gauge. So I know that, you know, you're not going to be able to stop any high caliber rounds, or even I wouldn't think that even this thick would be able to stop just a 9mm by itself with nothing else added to it. But the fact is, you know, it's not really a ballistic shield. It's a shield against bashing and attacking threats, you know, like knives and swords, batons, axes, hatchets, you know, those sort of things. Rocks, very commonly. And it's very effective. And I love that mirror finish. It's a clever idea. I want to make another one of these. One that's nice and clean, not scuffed up, just to have. So what I would do differently, we'll just cover that. I might redo how I did this handle, this metal here. I was thinking when I was making it with these 3 pieces, what if I put springs here and I cut slots for where the bolts went through? So that way it could expand and contract when the impact was. Would that absorb even more energy when someone's, you know, really coming at you? I couldn't really feel anything when Jacob was hitting it, you know, with the axe and stuff. But there was enough that I could still tell that it was being impacted. So, but it was still very comfortable to wear. I love this idea. And this was a fun project, man. So thank you guys. This was someone, one of you suggested this, and this was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed making it and learned a lot. If you were to try it with the burn barrel, you might be able to use open flame. You know, it started to work. That piece I had, it was working. Problem is controlling that temperature, man. You got to keep it under, like, really 300 degrees. You don't want it to go over that against some nylon straps. And so maybe if you started a fire, use the coals, laid it on its side, kind of shoveled it in, use some wet grass to kind of slow it down, you might be able to reach that temperature without it getting too intense too quickly. And definitely use multiple of the thick strap bands to really ratchet it down if you don't have this kind of small space heater that I have for my garage. But it works. So there'll be an update video coming up here really soon about some other projects I have that I've been working on that I'm really excited about. I've been working a lot on some different things. So So check out that video, it'll be right after this. And if you're new to this channel, please like, share, subscribe, suggest things. You know, this was a viewer suggestion and I love them. I'm going to be starting a bunch of different ways to contact and communicate with you guys more. I don't always get notifications, so sorry if I haven't commented back on something you guys have suggested or asked about. But I think I'm going to be doing a live stream by next month if I can figure out how to set it up. And that way you guys can talk to me directly and we can have some conversation, answer some of the questions people have been asking about the various armor. So maybe stay tuned for that. Alright? Maybe check out some of the other projects that I've worked on if you're interested in this sort of stuff. Made a lot of different armor pieces, so alright guys, well, see you in the next one. Later.